Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Atomic Salt Live Show. It's the tabletop hobby show that we're going to discuss everything in tabletop hobby world. I am Lyle Chevy, and as always, I'm joined by my buddy Casey. Casey, how are you this week?
Doing good, sir. Doing good. I was off on business all week, but it's good to be back.
So, you're off at business. Did you get any hobbying done?
Nope. I'm one of those really weird. I'm one of those really weird people who like to get work done on business trips. My coworkers don't always agree with that. I'm usually like the odd man out in our group because I'm like, hey guys, should we do some work? They're like, nah. I'm like, come on, let's do some work while we're here. They're like, nah. So, yeah.
So what are you working on tonight then?
So I'm working on. That looks pretty good. These are some turrets for my tower army. I kind of kit bashed them a little while ago. Get them down where you can see here. I kit bashed them. I've blocked out all the painting, and now I'm just kind of putting in some quick highlights for them. I'm using a micropin to kind of put in some lowlights. I use it, and it gives it kind of a cell-shaded look, which I really like. It seems to work well with all of my tower, and it gives all the highlights and the clean base coat. Just really just helps everything pop.
Nice.
So, what about yourself?
This week, gaming-wise, had our league match. And let me show you a photo. Pull it up first. So we.
So let's talk about league match for
Infinity.
Awesome, the game we love to talk about.
Yeah. So here's kind of an overview photo of our table setup. That's
some nice terrain, dude.
Yeah,
or at least enough of it.
Yeah, it's enough terrain. It's a mix of 40K and Plascraft, and then some of my black sheep crates and whatnot. Real nice table. It looks a little crazy at first, but the only thing I did not like was it's 40K, so it's got a lot of pokey bits. So my front forearms all scratched up from being stabbed.
Yeah, you kind of think all terrain is terrain is terrain until you actually start using 40K terrain on non 40K stuff. Then you realize you're like, oh wow, it's really not that great.
It's not great for line of sight blocking, especially for Infinity.
Yeah, I should take that back. It's great to look at. It looks really cool. But trying to interact with it is not really fun.
Yeah. So it was safe area, I think, is the mission. There's 4 objectives on the floor. It's in table quarters. But it's the one where table quarters are scored at the bottom of the round.
Turn.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I was going against Imperial, the Jijing Imperial orders.
Okay. Were you guys using anything new out of N3 or?
No. N3 still, I think we are like 2 weeks away before we can use N3.
Well, technically, yes.
But no, we had done. Well, none of us have it in our hands, so we weren't using anything from there. It was a good matchup, but I had to lead only because my opponent forgot that it was the scoring was at the end, so I got the lead at the very start. It's like, all right, I've got more quadrants than you. I get points.
And he was like, wait, what?
Yeah. And it was one of those missions that came down to the very last roll.
I love those kind of missions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He didn't roll so much. He had the opportunity to take me out on 3 of the 4 quadrants. Ran up a Sofa Tech, Merc, the Merc Doctor,
Hmm.
and forgot that earlier in his third turn, because he was going second. Earlier in his third turn, his sniper shot at one of my flamethrowing units, and she decided to belly guts roll and sneak behind a crate at a total cover. So when his medic was running up, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna flame you. And he failed his roll, and the mission ended up my way.
Yeah. Safe Area is actually, I kind of like this mission. They're Corvus Belli loves their quadrant control missions because they have 3 of them in ITS this year. Quadrant control, safe area, and I can't remember the last one. This one's kind of interesting. As you mentioned, there's 4 objectives in the middle of each quadrant. But you don't actually need to, if I remember right, you don't actually need to hack them. You just need to have a special and base-to-base contact with them.
Correct.
And then you can negate that.
Yeah, with the cards.
With the cards, or by just having a regular unit. It doesn't have to be another specialist in base-to-base contact with the same objective. So I sat down and I basically mathed it all out. And I kind of came away with, again, there's just about no situation where you don't want to take the card over the classified objective. Like the classified objectives just work too well. Or I'm sorry, the intel com card just works too well.
Depends on the type of player you are. I also did a tournament this weekend for Infinity, and my first and third opponent were the same person, only because how the points totaled out. Our first game was Nimbus Zone, and this very strong opponent. He plays a lot. He knows his stuff, and to get at the top table, you really need 10 points, and not so using your info card really hurts that situation. So that would be the only. So if you're a very strong player, you know what you're doing. Not going for that classified objective really hurts you in the overall.
Okay, and I agree that is the only case when you're going for that full 10 points. However, I believe that full 10 points is very difficult to get.
It is.
And so and I fall back to, sure, like, I mean, every tournament player is going to want to score those 10 points in every round. However, I would rather take the 9 points and have a more secure 9 points than risking it all and going for 10.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. So let's say you go and you take a classified objective, right? The other person decides to take their Intelcom card. One of the ways you get your 10 points, right, is by having a specialist. And to get 10, you're going to have a specialist on every single objective, right? All it takes is that Intelcom card to say, nope, that guy is no longer a specialist. And now you are right back to 9 points.
You can't get 10 points using your Intelcom card.
What?
You cannot get 10 points using your Intelcom card.
I know, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. I'm just saying that if you take the classified objective route, and then you have somebody go who takes the Intelcom card, they're going to have no trouble denying you your 10 points, because to get your full 10 points, you have to have a specialist on every objective. Correct?
You just have to have more than your opponent.
Is it more, or is it on every objective? Because you can double check that, because I'm pretty sure.
All right, I will pull up our Acrobat. Okay, safe area. Dominate the same number of sections at the end of the game. So that's okay. Supremacy. Yeah, because they're the same loadout, just different names.
Yeah, and it's scored slightly differently.
Yeah, okay. So it's supremacy is the one. It's dominate the same number of quadrants as your adversary at the end of the game round. And that's 1 point. At least one has to be dominated. Dominate more quadrants at the end of the game round. 2 points. Hack a console.
Oh, so we're talking hack a console, not be in control of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're getting our missions cross-wired here.
Correct.
Okay. All right, then throw everything I said out the window. I can admit when I'm wrong. It happens often. Still, pretty much, I still stand by my always take the Intelcom card. It always pays. Even if you're trying to gun for top table, you can still do it without scoring 10 points every single time. Anyways, how did you do? Enough dithering about that.
Oh, yeah. So for supremacy, it is it nullifies a specialist operative. So yeah, they both take out an operative. Yeah. So in our tournament, it was I lost 1 to 10 first round. Second round, I won 9-1. And third round, I won. It was tied 2-2.
That's not bad.
No, it was pretty interesting. Except my first and third player were the same person, so.
So you kind of got a little bit of revenge for yourself.
A little bit. It was very interesting. Third round. Won't talk much about second round because it was my buddy Randon, who we carpooled with. But he brought a list not for winning. He brought a list for best painted.
Gotcha.
So
and Randon can paint. Did he win best painted?
Yes, he did. With his Mandalorian nomads.
Oh, those are nice ones. I'm not in love with the color scheme, mostly because I just don't love I don't get the Boba Fett love that everybody's always into. However, he does them. He's done an incredibly good job on them.
Yeah. So he brought, and it was one of those. I mean, when you come to the table with only 9 orders,
ooh,
yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a rough time.
Yeah, that's a rough day right there. But they look
Spe-
pretty losing.
yeah, looked pretty losing, and it was highly classified. Was the mission, so it wasn't the greatest matchup for us.
Yeah. I don't know. I like highly classified. I think that's a fun mission.
I loved it. The one I could not score on was the test run. Um,
That's the have an engineer make an engineering role, right?
yeah,
Did you bring engineers?
I had an engineer, but I didn't have my remote was not in this area that I could get shot at.
Okay. Yeah. Here's the thing. Like it doesn't actually does it say
You have to
that they
repair a
have to
structure point.
Oh, you have to? Okay. Darn. So I was thinking for a minute there, I was like, wait, does it actually say you have to repair a structure point or just make a roll? But okay. So much for that idea.
Yeah, it's one of those. Like you look at it, and you're like, how am I gonna do this without sacrificing?
And the trick you have to do is you have to have it damaged without it have been like totally scrapped and blown up.
Yeah, so it's like an ARO shot or something, and hopefully it's not like a DA round.
Yeah. Because I remember talking to Dexter, and what he would do is he would actually like find ways to like hurt his own stuff. Like he would just jump it off a building because it's ever only going to do like one wound of damage. And so he would just keep it in the backfield right next to whatever he needed to buy, and he would just jump it off the building. And he would make sure it was like sufficiently high that he just hurt it.
Well, that's one way to do it.
Well, it was Dexter's been developing this idea, and I kind of agree with it, that the best way to play Infinity is to not interact with your opponent. And I know that sounds weird, but it's pretty easy to figure out probabilities when you're just doing like willpower rolls and physique checks and that sort of thing. And to a certain extent, you can do a lot of buffs to that area. Where everything goes out the window is when you have to start making face-to-face rolls, right?
Yeah, anytime you roll a dice against your opponent, somebody's gonna die, especially when you
Yeah.
do an armor save.
And so Dexter's kind of taken the mentality, and I think he has something to it. I mean, you definitely have to be like ready to play like this. It's a whole new style of play, but you just don't actually try to cause face-to-face rolls with your opponent. You I mean, you can always go for like mobile rolls and stuff, but yeah, all you do is you try to set yourself up to avoid interacting with them, because then at that point all you're doing is you're just doing checks, and it's a question of how efficient you are of using your orders. Now some might argue that's not really in the spirit of the game. I just think that it's an amazing tactic.
It's an amazing tactic. It just takes a lot of time to get that. A lot of time in practice to get that tactic down.
Yes, definitely. It's a whole different way of playing. I agree with you there. It's a whole different way of playing. Your list has to be ready for it. And to a certain extent, I mean, you can't just play a certain list or a certain style. Your list really has to be set up to take advantage of the mission.
And I mean, I've seen a couple of Dexter's lists, and I'm like, I've looked at him. I mean, he plays Hawk Islam. I plays Hawk Islam, so it's not too far. The knowledge factor is okay. Is there? I know what what each unit does, but I cannot figure out how he puts those on the board to win.
Right. And he does win. I mean, he took Rumble at Route 66. So, I mean, the guy's doing something right. Um, yeah, he's just playing in a very unconventional style. I'm not sure if it's just because he's played so much and he's just kind of like screw it, I'm going to do whatever, or if he's like really the old man up on the mountain who's figured everything out.
Well, like you said, if you have to shoot at your opponent and then take an armor save, you're not gonna win it every time.
Mm-hmm.
Even the most I've seen Hector, or I've seen a lot of uh, high armored units get taken down by a flamethrower, because
Yeah.
that's the magic of Infinity, is there's a balance.
Mm-hmm. And likewise, I've seen a lot of people get critted on like a 1 or a 2 from a pistol or something, or like way out of range of of what you would consider to be a viable range.
You're like, oh, this is a long shot, whatever, and then boom, crit.
Yeah. And I mean, it's probably happened to all of us at some point. So I really think Dexter's onto something. But I think you also have to play a lot of Infinity to be able to start doing that effectively.
It's definitely one that you have to know your stuff, and then possibly your opponent's stuff as well.
True that.
And so yeah, my third mission, like I said, it was against the same opponent as my first mission. We were playing supplies,
Supplies.
and we were playing on the bug hunt corridor table.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry.
So I'm like, all right, I know this guy's list now. I've already played it 2 hours before, and it was brutal. He had a Jaguar-ling team. He had the remote with crazy koalas.
Yeah, dude, that just sucks, especially on that table.
And yeah, so I was on the ropes, uh, and I knew that he needed, because he was gunning for 10 points, because that's how he was in the first game. And I'm like, all right, I was it, um, lucky shot. Was able to neutralize him on one of the tech coffins. I was able to grab the the mission, the data package, and then book it. And that was pretty much my first and second turn, was just to make sure to stack up that whatever he was bringing through the corridors had to go through several people. And it came down to the third turn. Uh, I had a repeater in a good spot, was able to shut down his remote and immobilize it. I had a couple of hackers. I was out hacking nomads,
that
and
that doesn't happen often.
so it came to my third turn, and I'm like, okay, um, how am I? I'm like, I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. Let's just try. I had a whole bunch of orders. I was able to target his person with holding uh, the information packet. Shot him with a missile. So he ended up dropping it, and I'm like, all right, I could attempt to go for this thing and get hit with a bunch of crazy koalas. I'm like, oh, that's not going to happen. And I was looking at the board and like, all right, what's my? I was able to get one secret uh, mission taken care of, and my last one was to heal somebody. And once again, it was one of those. The two people I had who were unconscious and not outright dead were on the other side of the table. And like, all right, well, I can't get this done. And so I'm like, all right, not much else to do. I'm like, all right, I had 10 orders left. Like, all right, that's game. And he went to go. He's reporting to go for another turn. I'm like, no, that was third turn, and we ended up tying the game with two apiece.
It's not a 2 points is not great, but at the same time, it's still a tie, which is worth a decent amount of points. So, did you have fun?
Yes.
And that's all that matters, right?
Because when you play again with Randon, Randon makes everything interesting.
Yes, he does.
Here's a photo of his Mandalorians.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't seen the tag before. That's new.
So that was his army. Yeah. It was against Randon and his Mandalorians. It was one of those. I had more orders. I had more specialists. I knew board control. And I got him so frustrated he threatened to crap himself. He's like,
An elegant man.
I was like, I'm so frustrated. I just crap myself right now.
Poor Randon. But at least he looked beautiful doing it. So how did you end up in total standings then?
Not very well. Well, I was losing big on the first round. Didn't put me very high.
It does hurt. It really does.
But it was a good time. But yeah, it's infinity. I mean, it's better than a day at the office, right?
This is very true. I would rather be playing Infinity than mowing the lawn.
And speaking of pretty, take a look at the photo of the new Margarita guard.
Oh my gosh, dude. That is something else. Do you need like a little time alone with that picture? Because I'll understand. I only say that because I've already had my time alone with that picture.
Yeah.
It's kind of a horror. It gets around.
It's going to be a huge chunk of metal. Even in the article, they said that they've had to do a hollow casting just to make it so it's not completely one huge chunk.
I didn't realize it was hollow cast.
It's hollow in the main body.
So
they had to. That's I guess what is this was supposed to be out last year.
Oh yeah. This is.
They just had to like re-engineer their thinking on how they're going to produce this.
Kind of just another thing to love about Corvus Belli. They could have just said, "Oh well, the design isn't going to work. Too bad. We'll just chalk it up to concept art." No, they stuck with it, and they actually figured out a way to do it. I mean, props need to be given to them for that.
There we go. I already know what I'm going to do with mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So,
well, because I mean, we've seen on Hell Heraldus do it before with the other tags. they've got. There's a bootleg one with, uh, was it the Squallows? It was opened up with the Tech B.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do that with my Magritte Guard Pilot.
Oh, that'll look cool.
So
The one in the saddle.
mm-hmm. It's
It's
gonna.
not a sex saddle. It just looks like one.
So I'm looking at it. I'm like, I'm going to, because it's going to take probably several main bodies to do it. I'm going to probably cast it up in resin.
The
And
guard.
the center part, the cockpit
like,
area, so I can have like pieces to make it so when it opens up. Not for resale or anything, just to make a nice looking kit.
oh yeah, no, that's going to be quite a project. You're going to want to take your time with that.
Yeah.
So here we go, real quick. This is, can't even see it. Let me see if I can get some more light on it.
Put it on the map.
I'm just trying to get up where you can see a little detail. So the highlights aren't amazing. It's quick and dirty. This is just a tabletop.
Yeah, I mean, 5 foot. I mean, when we paint for competitions, we get so anal, but then like, then you go to cons and all that, and everything's a 5 foot paint job, and what that means, like, if you look, so I just repaired my doctor today because she broke her arm, but I did this retribution caster for commission, and I'm working on the jack right now. There's work done on it, but it's not an overly crazy job done on the caster. But when it's on the table, it's going to look amazing.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are definitely, I kind of blew out the highlights a little bit on them. And so they look a little odd when you're just looking at them by themselves. But when you put them in a squad, and like you said, when you're pushing them around on the table, they're going to look great. They're going to stick out. They're going to be, people are going to pay attention to them. And it'll just be a fun little thing to have out there. Something kind of unique to my own army. So quite happy with them. So speaking of painting stuff, what you painting?
So let's see. I'm working on the Warjack right now. It's the Imperatus from Retribution Skara, so it's Privateer Press. I think this would be like one of the armies you probably would enjoy because it's not a steampunk faction.
Mm-hmm. I have
very
in the past.
And then I finished. I don't know if I showed you this. The Watcher. I finished up that. It's working on the.
I was going to ask you how that turned out.
Yeah. I didn't win my round, but I got beat up by a pretty impressive paint job.
Do you have some pictures of it that you could put up?
Yeah. I had a real hard time with this one. Mainly because the glow effect that I was trying to do, natural lighting really shades the bottom. So when I had to do a photo, I had to underlight it. And so there's a better photo of what it looks like.
Okay. I mean, I see what you're going for, but yeah, that lighting is just really hard to pull off.
Yeah. And it desaturated the scarf. It was I mean, great looking miniature. It was interesting to do. I think the base turned out amazing, but taking a photo of it, pain in the butt.
That's all these online competitions really are. They're photo competitions, not actual painting comps.
Yeah.
So what's your next challenge then?
I found that out tomorrow, actually.
How many rounds are there?
6 in total, and so I was in silver. And I guess it's different from years before. In this one, you're not automatically eliminated. So since I lost the silver, I'll be bumped down to bronze. And so tomorrow I find out who I'm facing and what the new theme is. And then I'll have 2 weeks to paint something.
Well, I think you'll do great.
Yep. I look forward to the challenge. That's why I'm trying to knock out this commission real quick. But yeah, I mean, all these glowy bits. It's panel lining with glowy stuff.
Yeah, glazes. So turquoise glaze is your friend. I can say that because I do a lot of blue glows because I think it's the easiest glow to handle. The answer to all of your problems with glowy bits is turquoise. Turquoise glaze, turquoise dry brush, like bubble with shrimp. I can do just about anything with turquoise.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I got going on right now. Looking at my Infinity stuff, I know a lot of it needs to be painted, and I just need to find a reason to paint that.
It's tough sometimes. Like, it is really tough sometimes. So I get what you're saying. Speaking of competitions, so the MayaCast Master Glass, I think we talked about that a little bit last time. We've got the special edition Achilles here. This is the one where he's holding the Morat head out. So I'm gonna do that for my competition piece. I'll show you this. So this is the Brush for Hire acrylic bases. So
I've seen those before, but I've never seen anybody use them yet.
That's the thing. Neither have I. Like, I keep looking around online, and I haven't seen anybody do anything with them.
Or if they have, they just made it look so great that you couldn't tell.
Well, they haven't done anything with this type before. So what I'll do is I'll saw off, like the plan is I'll saw off the little tab off of his feet, and then I'll put him on one of these fancy bases. And we'll kind of see how that works out. Because I'm really kind of curious, But it doesn't look like I did anything with them, but this is actually primed black. So I kind of rubbed it down with sandpaper real good and then put on a black primer on top of it. And I'll start airbrushing on top of that, kind of from there. So
make sure you get your mold lines.
I know, right? This is an online contest. I can hide mold lines with my pictures. Hope Tom and Kip aren't listening. I know they're not.
One day. So you're gonna go traditional or your own your paint scheme? How are you gonna do it up?
You know what? I'm gonna do it pretty similar to the paint scheme that you saw before that I did on him. Hold on one sec. No, I'm not gonna go dig him out. with kind of like a whitish type armor. White with like some blue lighting and stuff on it. Just because it seemed to work out for it. I don't really see a huge reason to not do that again. I mean, other than for my own entertainment, but this is going to be for a competition, so I'm not screwing around on it.
Yeah, I need to figure out who I want to paint.
Hey, Alan, you see this? I'm taking mold lines off. But because I don't really feel like starting a new model right now, and we're running short on time, let me show you what else I picked up. So I picked up from our friends over at Shift Games, who are quickly becoming like my favorite game store in Utah, even though I'm nowhere close to them. Just because they're awesome. Like, there's some guys where you're like, yes, you get it. And the guys at Shift just get it.
I mean, the owner is interesting. You walk in the first time, you're like, dude's got a mohawk, green hair. He's wearing bright orange camo pants.
Or pajama pants.
Yeah. But he knows, he's like, yeah, dude, let's talk Infinity.
Or anything. And he's just, like, he's not really pretentious about it. And at the same time, like, he offers everything that you want. Like, I swear, every time I go in there, I'm like, I think I'd really like this. And he's always got it. Like, everything that I think I'm looking for, he's got. And he doesn't keep a whole lot of, like, extraneous crap around. Like, he's just running lean and mean, which I really appreciate. So I was actually looking on eBay for this, and then I found it. I was like, oh, where's shipping from? Utah. But, oh, the guys that ship. Oh, yeah. And that's when I realized, I'm like, oh, I should totally talk to Jeff first.
What did you get? What did you get?
I got Guild Ball.
Ooh.
So this is the Mason Guild starter set. So let's plus a few other extras here. So in addition to the starter set, I picked up some blisters.
I picked up the KTS over the weekend from him.
Yeah, whenever he runs an event, I just feel like it's good form to pick something up from him. He's generally not making any money off of tournaments, so I think it's the polite thing to do. So so I picked up this here is Flint. He's going to be my striker or a ball scorer. He's widely considered to be one of the best strikers in the game. This is Tower. Nobody really seems to know what to do with him. But he just he's a good toolbox unit, He does okay at shooting. He does okay at beating stuff up. He's just kind of like one of those all-around guys where you're just always going to find a use for him. My favorite little emo girl, Chisel. She actually hurts herself just to do more damage to everyone else. So you gotta love that. And then we've got the people that we saw on the cover. We'll just kind of show you. The captain of our team is Honor. This is her younger sister, Harmony. She's considered to be not very good. And this is Mallet, who is like amazingly good. So, and you can see here's some of the models we got going on. Unfortunately, I'm back into metal. And it's funny, like, I look at these, and all I can think of is I'm like, it's not Infinity. Like, you kind of glance at it, you're like, oh, okay, it's a metal model, it's fine. But then when you start really looking at it, you're just like, I've forgot how much better Corvus Belli is than everybody else who does this.
It is interesting how how detailing is. I mean, right here I've got Privateer Press versus an Infinity, and yeah,
Gives you everything that you need. Sorry, I think you dropped out there for a sec.
Yeah, I'm saying we got the two different metal companies right here, and it's very interesting level of detail, but also the size as well. I think Guildfall is a little bit bigger in size compared to Infinity.
So that's debatable. I mean, here let's pull out. We've got
They are both
Achilles.
3D printed. I can tell you that.
Oh yeah, you can tell that. But Honor. So here's Honor versus Achilles. Now Achilles is kind of the new size for Infinity. The newer, bigger size. And Honor is quite a bit smaller. She's not even one of the big people. So, but you can see, and I wish I just had a regular size Infinity model here. Really, I think that they're about on par with Infinity in terms of size. If anything, they might be a little smaller. Oh, here's another one. Here's Tower. He's a little bit of a bigger dude, but still not amazingly so. So it's pretty comparable. If you want to talk size, I mean it's apples to apples.
Isn't he like a little bit larger than life in compared to most Infinity figures?
Achilles, yes. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Scale him down just a little bit, and you'll see. I think that they're pretty much the same size as each other. So there you go. The two people I'm missing are one, the mascot, which is hilarious because you need the mascot in order to play. But everybody seems sold out of them right now.
And what is the mascot for the Butchers?
This is the Masons.
Masons, okay.
For the Masons, it is a monkey named Marbles. He looks kind of like a baboon.
You can use that little rat creature from LVO.
Nope. I'm not even going to say that I could. I'm just not.
Come on, you know you want to.
Nope. That weird little.
You can buy the Okero monkey from 40K.
Yeah, I would rather use that before I use that weird thing from LVO. Like, no joke. I just realized I totally forgot to put blue highlights on those drones. I gotta go back and do that now. I gotta my paint out. Dang it.
It's always a chain painting.
So, but anyways, yeah, that's kind of. I need to pick up Marbles, and then I guess I'll pick up kind of like the last guy that I'm missing, and I might as well. But yeah, even then, we're only talking like 8 models for the whole team, and that's nice.
How are you going to base up yours?
Great question. I haven't decided that yet. I was kind of thinking about just rolling with kind of like the standard, grassy field kind of look. It's not what I would call inspired, but I think it would generally work with everything.
Well, like I've got like three options. So one is like I've got this woody flock, kind of like a moss flock that I can use. I've got static grass, and what I found is like if you mix static grass with your your dirt stuff, whatever you're using for dirt, it comes out very nicely organic. And my other option, it's very kind of like a muddy. I did it on this base here. It's static grass mixed with either Elmer's glue or a matte medium, and it gives it a very muddy, like a pitch or like a soccer field on a rainy day type of look.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, there's so many options. Or I could just go, just just knock it out and just call it done.
Yeah, like I don't want to just knock it out and call it done. But at the same time, I don't want to go crazy with these bases because I'm not sure that's really going to look that good on these. Like, I really think I just wanted to look like a soccer field. I mean, I guess I could understand an argument for like cobblestone or, like something else like that.
Mm-hmm.
But in all honesty, the majority of the time where we're going to see this played is on a field. So that just kind of makes sense to me to do it like that. Otherwise, I'm just trying to be fancy for fancy's sake, and that is fun. But not quite what I want to do with them. I want to make them a little more straightforward. And so, who do you have again?
I've got the morticians. The lovely, lovely morticians.
Morticians suck. Masons are the best.
They are very hard to learn, but once you master them, they're very evil in the field.
That's actually what I've heard, is that many people do not suggest morticians as like your first team just because they're so difficult to learn. But you see a lot of people go to pick morticians up later on.
And I've heard that like you can substitute some union miniatures to help bolster your learning factor.
Yeah, that's kind of going to be my goal, is to not use union guys. I know they're really good, and I wanted to do well in a tournament setting. That's kind of, I think, where you'd have to lean to. But I like the idea of just staying faction pure, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And it makes, I mean, especially in a lot of games, you kind of want to stay faction pure just so you can get the feel and the hang of your army. Once you start adding in everything else, you kind of dilute.
Well, it's just, why am I playing this game? And this one, more than any other game, is just to have fun with my buddies. Because Infinity, that's a game like I want to be serious about, because in general I can be serious about it. It's so balanced and works so well. But Infinity also, it's a crunchy rule set, man.
Yeah, even in like our tournaments, I mean, we have people who've played forever. We still have to call up rules because there's rules in there that you're not going to use all the time, and you have to like dig them up. Just like, okay, like firewall. How often are you going to use a firewall if you never take hackers?
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, Infinity is just one of those games where I almost feel like if the more you know the rules for Infinity, like the better you'll do. And I guess that's true for every game, but like Guild Ball, I don't want to be an amazing tournament player. I just want to like sit down and have fun with my buddies.
Definitely beer and pretzels.
Yes. Now, it's funny because talking with Reese over at Frontline, they're going to be having them over at LVO this coming year.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, so I don't think they're going to have a tournament so much, but the Steam
exhibition
Forge guys are, yeah, they're going to be out there.
Cool.
And arguably, Guild Ball is more successful than Infinity UK right now.
They've done a very good job supporting and getting their name out there. Steamforge Games, for our event here in Utah, they sent us a whole bunch of starters. I mean,
oh, nice.
We asked just for some price support, and they're like, here's a whole bunch of stuff. And I think they very much get the community. I mean, right now they're running a Kickstarter for Dark Souls, the board game, and that's blowing it out of the
Yeah, I
water.
saw that. Yeah, that's like you kind of listen to the story, and these guys were literally like they were disenfranchised 40K players, right? And they were starting to play War Machine, and he was talking about like in an event. He was like, "Yeah, I want to paint up my guys like this. I want to paint it like that," and what was it? They were watching. What are the other ball games? I think it was like Blood Bowl or something being played by some guys like in a local club. And one guy kind of remarked to the other one, he's like, he's like, I bet that I could adapt the rules for War Machine to make it play like that. And sure enough, that was kind of like the beginning of it.
Interesting.
And then over like the next couple of years, they just kind of like bounced it back and forth and improved and tweaked, and it kind of moved beyond that initial concept. Although I play War Machine, but I guess a lot of War Machine players look at the rules and it just kind of like innately makes sense to them in the way that they work. So that kind of explains why that is. So, but yeah, and like their goal is to get his Infinity. I don't know if they'll do that. Infinity has quite a head start on them. But, it's good to have goals, right?
Very true.
This has been a good, productive night. I needed this.
So, is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
You were just.
You painting
How's life? Good, man.
You painting happy trees?
I am painting happy trees. What I love about these guys is they're not like a great, amazing monster unit. They're arguably not even all that option, but like that kind of takes the pressure off of it, Like this is a unit going to like I'll pull out, when I'm playing with my buddies, and they'll go, "Ooh, that looks cool. What does that do?" And I'll tell them, and they'll be like, "Oh no, that's so amazing." They'll be afraid of it for like 10 minutes, and then they'll actually see it play, and they'll realize it's nothing big. But like it'll just be kind of fun to have.
I think that's what's great about Guild Ball is you can pick it up, easy to learn, and so yeah, I mean, best way to do a demo is if you can get somebody who can pick up the game in 10 minutes, they'll be likely to buy it.
Yeah, and that was kind of the story for us with Guild Ball. We had a couple of guys in our group bring it over, we were just using like the little paper dolls and stuff with it. And yeah, and we just kind of like we monkeyed around with it for an evening, and they were already kind of in. One guy had his alchemists there. Another guy was starting to work on his butchers, and so we were like, wow, they're really committed to this. And then we played it, and we're like, this is a really straightforward game. And it's nice to have a simple, straightforward game. Because for as much as I love it, sometimes it feels like that game punishes me.
That's very true. And a lot of games have that, or you feel like you're being punished. Like War Machine, when I first started playing War Machine, yeah, I was like second turn, like my caster gets killed. I'm like, I have no idea what's going on.
So this has happened to me twice already with War Machine. It happened the other night. I was talking with John. Oh, I think that's his name, John, over at Gamers Asylum. I was talking to him about Guild Ball. Am I interested in? He's like, you should play War Machine. And I'm like, no thanks. I'm not really into the steampunk style, and the rules just don't really interest me. And I kind of want to leave it at that. And he took it as like a personal affront. And he's like, no, you're wrong. Like, you should be playing War Machine. And that's actually like the second time I've had somebody kind of approach me with War Machine like that. And it's really a turnoff. Like, I'll play whatever I want to play.
Which is really interesting because Privateer Press have announced that they're going to Mark III with the rule set.
Yeah, good for them.
Meaning that if you were to pick it up now, everything you learned, maybe just the basics would carry over.
But it all comes back to I'm not really that into steampunk. I really don't think their miniatures are all that great. Yeah, the style and like the way the game works with kill the caster just isn't my thing. I mean, if somebody else wants to play that, more power to them. Great. I'm glad you found something you liked. I'm just not interested. But when I say that to War Machine guys, like it's like I punch their mother in the face or something. Like they get really upset by that. Like War Machine is the greatest game ever invented, and you need to play it. It's like, and now I don't want to play it even more.
It's interesting because like a lot of War Machine players were disenchanted 40k players, and then like we get those players in Infinity, and we're like, okay, you have to kind of not you. It's not a win at all costs type of game.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something about War Machine players that I don't get. I mean, one, they don't paint their models. Let's be honest. You go to a War Machine event, and what would you say? 75%, 80% of the models are not painted. I know. Okay, sorry. Alan works with like the Intermatter Cup, so he's got to be nice about War Machine. So I'll lay off.
No, I get it. I mean, there's a, and it's funny you mentioned that because, like I said, Privateer Press is going into Mark III, and in their videos for the announcement, they're like, yes, we want to get back into the hobby It's like it's all about growing communities, promoting communities, and the hobby aspect.
Okay. Well, that's cool. In that case, I mean, I'm glad that they're coming back around to that.
Yeah, and I think you're right. It's because I mean, it's when you have a rule set where it's just like, okay, whoever's got the better beatdown list wins, or whoever knows how to min max and all that. They've changed it up,
Yeah.
and
I
it's
mean, you see guys like, they're like, oh, I'm setting up my combo. And it's like, okay, well, I guess I'll be back like in an hour or something while you're like measuring everything down to the millimeter and trying to figure it all out. Yeah.
it will be interesting to see what comes out of Mark III and how it changes the metas and the players.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, at the end of the day, I'm not calling it a bad game. I'm just saying it's not the game I'm interested in playing. And for some reason, yeah, I mean, live and let live, right? But for some reason, all the War Machine players I've met like get really upset by that I haven't like immediately declared it the greatest game ever. So, well, that's all I've got for tonight. What about you?
Yeah,
Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think we covered a nice chunk of stuff.
Yeah, we beat around the bush quite a bit.
I mean, there's some Infinity stuff I'm looking forward to getting. Guild Ball's ramping up in our area.
Oh yeah, speaking of Gamer Stuff, did you see they're going to do like a league or something on Wednesday or Thursday nights?
Yeah, I've heard about that. So
yeah, they had like a little sign up sheet for it. It's not starting until May. I don't know. I might think about that if I can get my stuff painted by then.
Yeah, now let's get your starter box and learn with the 3.
Yeah. So, well, it helps that I also picked up like the best faction out of all of them. So.
Well, folks, look forward to some Casey bat reps with Guild Ball.
Yeah, definitely. That'll be fun.
But that's it for us, folks. If you've been watching, thank you for tuning in. Leave us comments down below what you think. Have you been playing Infinity? Have you been playing Guild Ball? Are you gonna back the Dark Souls Kickstarter? Let us know in the comments. We'd really love to hear your thoughts. Like the video, share it with your friends, subscribe to see more. Casey, anything else?
Nothing from me, just as always. If there's anything you'd like us to talk about or take a look at, shoot us an email at theatomicsalt@gmail.com. This has been The Atomic Salt, and my painting has just blown my mind.
Good night, folks. See you next week.